Welcome to News 9 and you are watching On Point and I have 9 on points or 9 big headlines. Let us take a look at the first on point. Countdown to 2024 Lok Sabha poll verdict. Will it be 400 par for Narendra Modi or 295 plus for Rahul Gandhi? Exit polls for the 2024 Lok Sabha election has predicted victory for Bharatiya Janata Party, with the party expected to secure well above 300 seats and the NDA exceeding 400 seats. However, the opposition dismisses these projections, presenting its forecast of 295 seats for the I.N.D.A Bloc. Prime Minister Modi and BJP have claimed that the BJP will cross the 400 mark in the Lok Sabha elections. On the other hand, the Congress-led I.N.D.I.A Bloc has claimed that they are winning at least 295 seats in general elections. All the exit polls have unanimously predicted a thumping victory for BJP and NDA. BJP's 400 claim seems closer to reality, as most exit polls have given NDA somewhere between 346 to 401 seats. All the exit polls have predicted that I.N.D.A Bloc is losing the Lok Sabha elections and their numbers are likely to be between 100 to 170. However, the opposition alliance has termed the exit polls as bogus and fantasy polls. So first, let us listen to BJP leaders who are confident that BJP-led NDA will easily cross the 400 mark and make history. So we will play the bite of Prime Minister Modi, Mr. Nadda, who happens to be the president of the party, and Yogi Adityanath, who happens to be the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. So these are three important bites we are going to play now.
देश ने घोषणा कर दी है, अब की बार तीसरी बार
मेरी पार्टी, हम सबकी पार्टी भारतीय जनता पार्टी को 370 से ज्यादा सीटें देंगे और एनडीए 400 पार करेगी। इस विश्वास के साथ मैं भारत के इस लोकतंत्र के चुनाव में भाग लेने वाले सभी लोगों को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं।
मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में पूरे देश के अंदर भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पक्ष में जो लहर है, अब वो सुनामी बन चुकी है। और आप देखना 4 जून को जब परिणाम आएंगे तो 4 जून के परिणाम में अब की बार 400 पार का लक्ष्य पूरा होगा।
And now let's listen to some of the I.N.D.A Bloc leaders who have claimed that they are not only coming to power, but they will get 295 seats, and I will play out the bite of Rahul Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge and Arvind Kejriwal.
इसका नाम एग्जिट पोल नहीं है, इसका नाम मोदी मीडिया पोल है। ये मोदी जी का पोल है, फैंटेसी पोल है उनका। थैंक यू।
कितनी सीटें आ रही हैं आपके हिसाब से?
सिद्धू मूसेवाला सॉन्ग सुना आपने? 295।
इंडिया गठबंधन कम से कम 295 सीटें प्लस 295 से ज्यादा आएंगे, कम तो नहीं आएंगे। ये हमने आकलन किया कि सभी हमारे नेताओं से पूछने के बाद ये एक आंकड़ा हमारे पास मिला है और इस आंकड़े में कोई बदलाव नहीं है। ये एक जनता की सर्वे है, हमारा सर्वे नहीं है। जो जनता ने सीधा हमारे को कहा है और हमारे नेताओं को जो इंफॉर्मेशन दिया है, ये इंफॉर्मेशन पहुंचाया है, उस आधार पर ये हमने आज आप लोगों को बता रहे हैं।
इंडिया गठबंधन को 295 प्लस सीट्स मिल रही हैं, बीजेपी को 220 के करीब सीट्स मिल रही हैं और एनडीए जो बीजेपी का गठबंधन है उन्हें 235 के करीब सीट्स मिल रही हैं। तो इंडिया गठबंधन अपने दम पे स्थिर और मजबूत सरकार बनाने की दिशा में बढ़ रहा है।
Now let me go across to Brijesh first. Brijesh, tell me, 295 plus or 400 plus?
I think neither.
Neither 400 nor 295. I think, basically what has happened is that if you follow the poll which has been done by many people, see, ours is the only poll which has been done, which is not only, taken into account of 1 crore, people they have gone to and took their view, but also they aren't dependent on crutches like, 200 plus minus 40, plus minus 60. If you look at most of these pollsters poll, they plus 40 has been added just to make sure that, that rubrics of 100 is crossed. I don't think that BJP or led NDA is going to get 400. If the exit polls hold straight, I think it's going to be somewhere in the range of 370, 375, not more than that. If India Alliance does 295, it is going to be one of the most surprising and spectacular electoral reversal I would see, at least in the last 5-6 general elections and all. So I don't think India Alliance is also, if you take into consideration, all those very keenly fought seats and all, I think they will be also, the entire India Alliance will be somewhere in the range of 180 to 200. Okay. I'm also joined by Ajit, senior journalist. Jayan Bhattacharya will be joining us, and I'm also joined by Mr. Prasad, senior journalist. First to you, Ajit, it's 295 plus or 400, and why is India insisting, or have actually used this catchy Sidhu Moosewala song? Sidhu Moosewala song, and then 295 plus. मतलब मामला क्या है ये?
In Rahul Gandhi's language, the 295 is fantasy. In fact, I would say beyond fantasy, right? To use his language, he used the term fantasy for 400 par. So 295 sounds like fantasy to me. And in fact, I think it's like fantasy beyond fantasy. Anyway, so I would agree with Brijesh. I think both sides are upping the ante. Neither 400 par nor 295, which is totally unachievable. And from what we have seen, our exit poll, other exit polls, several pre-poll surveys, our own discussion of marginal seats, state by state, I have come to the conclusion that basically BJP is coming close to 300 plus, and maybe the NDA about 340, maximum 350. If you take the Congress, closer to 60-65 seats, which is actually an improvement from last time. Again, congratulations to Rahul Gandhi. Our poll has shown that he's winning both from Raebareli as well as Wayanad. So, he's the member of parliament from north in Uttar Pradesh to south in Kerala. Remember his long journey, right? So ultimately it paid off. And I would say that the India Gathbandhan would be somewhere close to 160, 170. That's my assessment at this moment.
The second question was why 295 plus? It's like हम भी 300 पार हो सकते हैं, 250 पार हो सकते हैं, 350 पार हो सकते हैं. ये 295 plus क्या मतलब? ये भी कह सकते थे 272 plus. What is 295 plus?
It reminds me of, when we used to go as a child to buy the Bata shoes, remember? It used to be 1599. So it's almost like that. They are trying to make it sound more sort of, something which is serious. If they said 300, then it would look as if it is non-serious. So I think, and the funny thing is, from Rahul Gandhi to Arvind Kejriwal to other leaders, in fact, Arvind Kejriwal, who I thought was a very intelligent man, I just heard him saying, BJP 220, NDA 230. So only 10 seats for all the allies of the NDA, whereas he should remember he's an ally of India, whatever Gathbandhan.
Basically, Ajit, he was getting the question right. Before I go to Mr. Prasad and Jayanto, let me play out a bite of Jairam Ramesh. My producer is insisting from the PCR that I should play out. Let's play out. We will play out. Okay, play out.
इंडिया जनबंधन के पार्टियों को 295 सीटों से कम नहीं मिलने वाला है. 295 सीटों के ऊपर ही इंडिया जनबंधन के पार्टियों को मिलेगा. ये एग्जिट पोल फर्जी इसलिए हैं क्योंकि
हमारे निवर्तमान प्रधानमंत्री और निवर्तमान गृह मंत्री ये सब मनोवैज्ञानिक खेल खेल रहे हैं, दबाव डाल रहे हैं सभी विपक्ष की पार्टियों के ऊपर, चुनाव आयोग के ऊपर, काउंटिंग एजेंट के ऊपर, रिटर्निंग ऑफिसर के ऊपर, और धमकी दिया जा रहा है, एक माहौल पैदा किया जा रहा है कि हम वापस लौट आ रहे हैं। हकीकत इससे बिल्कुल विपरीत है। और ये जो प्रयास है निवर्तमान प्रधानमंत्री और निवर्तमान गृह मंत्री कर रहे हैं, हमारे जो हौसला है उसको कमजोर करने में वो बिल्कुल विफल होंगे।
मिस्टर प्रसाद, इसमें तो लेने के देने पड़ गए। इलेक्शन कमीशन हैज एक्चुअली hauled up Jairam Ramesh, So, one part is that, he's complaining about, the electoral malpractice. But, I'm not going to get into those timelines, because today my debate is why 295 plus. Please answer that. Why? What is the arithmetic?
Well, Karthikeya, let me say, I've never been a good student of mathematics, so I don't know. Nor am I a punter to choose a figure, right? But as a political journalist, I certainly feel we all been talking about it, is that nobody ever calculated that the BJP is losing to the extent that they'll be out of power, right? That was the broad calculation that was coming up to this stage, or till the 7th phase. Now, post-exit polls, the numbers threw up very dramatically different. And I think on June 1, when all the leaders of I.N.D.I.A Alliance sat together, they collectively came up with this 295 figure, and since then everybody is talking of 295. How they arrived at, I am not sure. Nobody told us the breakup. Of course, one breakup I did hear from somebody in the Congress party.
Good. You spoke about that. Look at your screen. India claims 7 in Rajasthan. Polstat exit poll is 5. So we have put that India claims 24 in Maharashtra. Polstat is India claim is less than a Polstat claim. Okay, to ulta ho gaya. Another one.
That was very clear.
India claims 25. Polstat exit poll is 8. India claim 40, Polstat is 35. India claim in Kerala is 20, Polstat is 19. India claim is 24, Polstat is 21. India claim for Punjab is 13, Polstat is 8. So actually, they are trying to bank on seats which they think they can win.
Absolutely. And as I said, so they were calculated among themselves that, look, this is our feedback. In fact, they did mention that the feedback from their own party and the alliance partners comes to this 295. Obviously, they must have rounded it off. I think they've been talking of 295 plus. Let's put it that way. Now, one thing as I was mentioning you, I heard from the Congress, one senior leader or party team, said they are reasonably certain that they will cross 100. Now, it's you can talk it of bravado, I don't know. They have their own calculations. Calculations can go wrong. Calculations can mistake. There could be errors when the actual translation takes place. But as I see, it is a euphemistic pronunciation by both parties just ahead of the actual results when the votes will be counted. So that's why it stands.
Okay, Jayanto, your take on this 295 plus. Do you think that's 295 plus or 400 par? कुछ एग्जिट पोल खिसक के 400 पार तो
I think you should have gotten one guess from Punjab. He would have been able to explain Sidhu Moosewala better.
हाँ, मतलब
300, 400 to the India bloc?
No, 295 plus. The mystery is 295 plus.
Yeah, 295 plus, 5 less than 300.
5 less than 300. Why? वो भी पूरी हो जाती 300 कह दीजिए.
Ajit gave a good simile about the Bata shoe, but here I feel that they want to be more convincing. 1000 रुपया बोलो तो लगेगा कि बहुत ज्यादा है, से 999 तो लगेगा चलो 1000 से 1 रुपया वापिस तो मिलेगा. It's something like that maybe. But if you go by these figures, they are banking very heavily on their allies in Kerala, Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. And they are very, very hopeful of getting almost half the seat from UP, Maharashtra and Bihar. So if you go by the exit poll, if you don't trust the exit, even if you don't trust the exit poll, has anything happened during this course of the election, or especially in the last three phases, that has suddenly turned the tables towards the India bloc? I don't think anything has happened, except for the fact that the India bloc leaders can talk about anti-incumbency, they can talk about language, they can talk about anything, but nothing such a great happening that has should have taken place to make them so happy. I don't see that has happened yet.
I have this question for Ajit. Ajit, tell me in retrospect. Now you have the advantage of hindsight. It's not as polls don't go wrong. What went wrong in 2004? A lot of people are born after 2004. In their political consciousness, Modi is the biggest politician. So, can you just take us through what went wrong in 2004 in the polls? Psychology.
What do you mean by 2004 when you're talking about election 2004 or today?
The polling, exit polls.
I'm not able to follow your question.
Exit polls. Ajit, what did psephologists not get right in 2004?
Okay, that's what you were asking. See, exit polls are very difficult to, it's very difficult for exit polls to pinpoint out anything other than a general tendency. It's a good question why they didn't catch the 2004 anti-incumbency. First of all, I think one reason was because in 2004, the anti-incumbency was not fierce. If you remember, the Congress barely managed about 140 odd seats, right? Now, that is not a fierce anti-incumbency. Of course, as a result of which Vajpayee's government fell, but very difficult to catch that. Exit polls usually are able to catch when there is a massive movement from one side to the other, like in this particular election, 2024, like in 2019, like in 2014. These are typically critical elections, right? When at least in the last two, the turnouts were very high. In this also, the revised turnouts would be considered on the higher side, though lower than 2019. So when there is a dramatic shift, exit polls are more accurate. When there are these cross-cutting currents, like in 2004, as you pointed out, the exit polls were not able to catch the wave. It's difficult to see the wave.
So Ajit, even today, the anti-incumbency is not high. There is no visible opposition to the Prime Minister and this party on streets. Parties are speaking, पर जनता का कोई बहुत बड़ा agitation नहीं हुआ है. And the Punjab agitation, everyone understands, was mobilized by none other than first Amrinder Singh and then the Congress party. It's an open truth. Politicians are supposed to do that. वो एकदम जनता का आंदोलन नहीं था. So बात तो वैसे ही है. आज भी कोई मोदी जी के खिलाफ सड़क पे नाराजगी नहीं है. अगर किसी से भी पूछ लीजिए, लोग बोलेंगे आएगा तो मोदी.
No, your question is very good. What I was pointing out, that exit polls are able to catch when the wave is one way or the other, right? This time it's a pro-incumbency wave. They are not calling it for some reason. Remember that little joke, the only wave is the heat wave. So therefore, the answer came that this is the thunder wave, if not a heat wave. But there is a wave there. There is a silent wave, because what do you see? You see a geographical expansion of the BJP in states where they had never reached. I mean, think of it. Winning a seat in Kerala, winning about 3-4 seats in Tamil Nadu, surging in Telangana, surging again in Bengal, doing fairly well in Andhra. I mean, these were unheard of in the past, right? Again, in the north, when we see a clean sweep of Madhya Pradesh, a clean sweep of Chhattisgarh, clean sweep of Gujarat, which they did in 2019. All of us have got accustomed to 2019's massive wave. So therefore, somehow this wave looks, familiar. This looks
I think you have made your point. I need to get the other panelists also. You made your point. Sure. KV, just tell me, what did the journalists or the psephologists didn't get it right in 2004? वो भी तो एक चुनाव था. The exit polls didn't get it right.
Yeah. We were all there reporting from the ground and looking at the differences. In fact, January of that year, there was this feeling that the Vajpayee government was losing ground. And there were discussions And so much so that I remember one particular event we were there where the opposition leaders were holding, I think it was in Parliament Annex. And when the leaders came out, including Ramvilas Paswan, looked at all of us and scoffed at. He said, "Where is India shining? Kahan hai bhai India shining? Ye haar rahe hain." And nobody believed him. Let me tell you that. Nobody believed at that point of time. All these things were happening, but the churn took place. Something which Ajit Jha did mention, a silent wave. And I'm sure silent wave is very difficult to detect which way it is going. That is the challenge I think I've noticed as a political journalist. When there is no, I mean, in the absence of a discernible wave, you really don't know. And we all believe a presumption that the person who is actually speaking to you is telling you what exactly the way he or she pulled. That is where the presumption begins, number one. Just a while ago, somebody forwarded a news clip of a television channel, a polling house from Karnataka, contesting some of the data and saying that this data doesn't match up to what the pollster, in particular one pollster, they mentioned. They said these numbers don't add up. They simply are not extrapolating. There are some lacuna, which is slightly technical to say. So again, and they wanted a debate on it. Let there be an honest, transparent debate among all the pollsters. What kind of methodology are being appointed? What kind of people, how much is a sample size, so on and so forth, many other things. So I guess you point of psephology, I think from the early 80s to today, 40 years, our psephology still continues to be taking steps, moving forward. But in a vast country like India with multiple voters,
but the KV, the problem is, people get elections wrong. And the shoe was on the other foot. A lot of people said कि यार जनता बड़ी खामोश है, साइलेंट वोटर है. पता लगा 2019 में वो साइलेंट वोटर मोदी का निकला. तो कहने का मतलब पता भी नहीं लगता वो साइलेंट वोटर कौन है. जयंतो, so the question stands. If 2004 there was no anti-incumbency, there was no opposition, Sonia was not tall enough in front of Vajpayee, you had the Vikas Purush and the Lauh Purush together, and then Sonia Gandhi came. So why debunk the proposition that maybe overestimation can be done? ये भी हो सकता है ना?
Indeed, it was not only 2004. If you remember, Karthik, it happened in 2011 assembly elections also. Some of those predictions, they went out after the results came out.
West Bengal.
Please go on, Jayanto. Brijesh was saying that, 2021, yeah.
Correct, correct. There, and even if I remember correctly, even Tamil Nadu, between these two assembly elections, the predictions went wrong. 2004 specifically, let me share an anecdote with you, Karthike. A common friend of ours in the Congress who was taking care of taking care in the sense he was with the coordinating with the media team. He had said perhaps not 2004, maybe we will prepare for 2014. If you remember his words. So that time, even the people within the Congress were also convinced because of that particular picture that came out, not only because of this, the predictions that happened from the pollsters, but also the picture that was painted about a shining India that affected, but not the voters. The voters, they gave their own verdict, and we saw what happened. Now, this time also, Prasad said a very correct thing, that when you are doing an on-the-ground survey, you have to depend on what the answer is of your sample. Sample in the sense the person you are asking. So now there are obviously many reasons that they may not share with you that whom they are supporting, who they are voting for. So that which, in fact, I was speaking to one of the pollsters. Obviously, I won't name him or for whom he is voting. I can't name him, but he is a good friend of mine.
Okay.
You know the percentage he said that may affect this outcome of his poll prediction.
How much?
22%. Because of the answers that they have got from their sample, and it was not such a big sample. What they have done was a smaller sample. It was about 500 to 700 people from each constituency, each Lok Sabha constituency, not even Vidhan Sabha. There he is saying more than 20%, there can be a difference in the poll prediction. So they have to account for these things also. Those who have the experience, those who have been doing this, they know how to handle this, because for this particular person, this psephologist, he has been handling, he's not a psephologist, he handles the groundwork. So he has been doing it since almost the very beginning. So he has an idea how to take care of this, how to put in the final report that he will prepare, how to account for this 20 to 22%. Not many people can.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Okay, Brijesh, I think it's been a good point.
I see, you have to understand that by and large, psephologists are right, but there have been instances and very spectacular instances when, they all predicted wave one way. And it turned out that the wave was clearly on the other side. It was saying that, look, we are winning Ahmedabad, the rest of the Gujarat has been won by Congress. It was that surprising, especially, 2021, when every single pollster gave Bharatiya Janata Party, even the one who claims to be, the most correct and accurate, gave Mamata Banerjee less numbers and Bharatiya Janata Party more number with the range involved. And it turned out to be spectacularly wrong. So I'm just saying that I'm no judge on, I'm not qualified enough to say how much of this can go. But I think, 30, 40 seats here or there can make a big difference, from all of a sudden, even if you take the sample of 360 to 400. So you are plus minus 40, So from 360 be the mark. And you are taking 40 plus, which is like 401. A 40 minus is there to tank all your aspirations. And, I'm saying that the reason is that nobody is saying the BJP is not going to win, but an opposition or India alliance somewhere in the range of 200, 220 or something in that range means that there is going to be a very, very robust alliance opposition, unlike 2019 and 20 and 14.
So are we saying, I have just 1 minute, Ajit, even in 2004, Sonia Gandhi was not considered a patch on Atal Bihari Vajpayee's stature. Vajpayee was a hero. This time, you also don't have a prime ministerial candidate. But what is the big dissimilarity? We have understood the similarities. What is the exceptional factor which makes 2004 different from 2024? 1 minute, Ajit.
Okay, so most important factor, the massive majority behind Mr. Right? So this is a dominant party. In 2004, the NDA alliance was not a dominant party, number one. Number two, the percentage vote difference between the NDA and the UPA was a bare minimum. So what tends to happen, exit poll catches percentage vote more accurately the number of seats. So if they get it wrong, it can swing the other way around, as someone pointed out about Tamil Nadu and West Bengal. The problem was the percentage difference between the winner and the loser was very small. And third and most important, because Vajpayee's stature, even though he didn't have the numbers, but his stature, his charisma, and all the sort of questions asked on the prime ministerial candidate was so overwhelming that, and the fact that everyone was dismissing Sonia, who couldn't speak Hindi very well, they were not able to see the surges she was doing in Western UP, when she was walking among the rural women. So the reporters did a good job. In fact, I did a story on the Congress search when I was in one of the #1 magazine in the country. But the people in the editorial room did not believe me, because everyone said, "Arey, Vajpayee ji ke samne, how can you say she is surging?" So that was the problem. The main difference is the dominant party versus a bunch of, loosely fitted alliance. Whereas at that time, there were loosely fitted alliance on both the sides. There was no dominant party with an overwhelming 303 majority and 353 sort of total numbers of NDA. So that makes the difference.
Okay. We'll come to know. We'll be in the same boat, same room, same studio, Ajit, and we'll come to know by 11:30, 12. But the reason for this show was that in politics, the most beautiful part is that everything is within the realm of probability. And that is why I enjoy being a journalist, and that is why I enjoy covering elections. Thank you all of you for joining me on the first debate of On Point. Thank you. But that's on point 1. And I have on point 2. And on point 2 is Prime Minister Narendra Modi creates a flutter with new article, new Sankalp from Sadhana. What does Prime Minister mean when he says that Bharat cannot be limited to economic reforms? What are the Sankalps he has taken?